looming?
Well, I'm not sure who the managers are that they're talking about at the moment. I mean, there's not too many people that are going to do as good a job as Jurgen Klopp.
Let me throw you a few of the odds then. Let me throw you a few, Stuart. We've got Ruben Amorim at the top of that list. We've got Ruben Amorim at the top of that list there. Roberto De Zerbi's also on the list for the Liverpool job as well. They're two of the names that we're seeing linked with the Liverpool role here. Nagelsmann himself behind them. Linders, Postecoglou, Gary O'Neill and Andoni Iraola at 18-1.
It's not inspiring, is it? I mean, that's the problem. Liverpool and Klopp has decided he's had enough. But the people that they're talking about, the only one that you can really say that we've seen in the Premier League is De Zerbi to a really good over a period of time. And he's had over a year there now at Brighton. And he plays good football. They've played progressive football. He's developed players. But they've also been outplayed on occasions. They're sometimes been tactically flawed when they've been counter-attacked. So there's lots of things wrong with his game plan. But he's probably, in my view, the best of the bunch that you just talked about there. Iraola's done OK at Bournemouth. He had a poor spell, but he's starting to get much better. But it's not inspiring. If you were a Liverpool fan, you wouldn't be inspired by those people you're talking about. Maybe Nagelsmann would be a better fit at Liverpool than he would at Bayern Munich.
Stevie, what do you make of the list? Who's the best fit on the list? Or off it?
I'm with Robbo on this, De Zerbi. I think the way that he wants to play, you know, the fact that Brighton have struggled this year, you know, shouldn't be that big of a shock. Come on. I mean, how do we expect Brighton to be able to play and challenge in the Premier League and be in the Champions League in Europe, whatever? It's impossible for them. And they lose the two of the best players. The guts of their midfield was taken out. So it's not a surprise that Brighton are not quite at their best. But the fact that De Zerbi's been in England in the Premier League, the fact that the way he wants to play the game, the fact that he knows now what Liverpool's all about. It's one thing to be over the water watching the TV. It's another thing to be involved in it and understanding what Liverpool's all about. So I'm with Robbo. I think De Zerbi's the closest thing to Klopp. And I think it's important because somebody like him is taking over a group of players that actually know all about playing the game the way he wants it to be played. So that has to be a box tick, surely.
Let me talk about Xabi Alonso not being the next Liverpool boss right now then. Is that a loss for Liverpool at this stage?
I don't think you can turn around and say this is a complete disaster. You know, let's be quite honest. Alonso doesn't have the experience of managing a giant club through a Premier League championship, Champions League, the whole thing. He's going to find out what it's like to be expected to be sitting at the top of the league and to be in the Champions League next year. This will be his first taste of that. Is that really what Liverpool need? A guy to take over a club the size of Liverpool that has no experience of dealing with so many games and a smaller squad and all of these things. So would I have loved to have him? Yes, I would. But the fact that they're not getting him, is it the end of the world? No, it's not. I would suggest De Zerbi has got every bit of chance of keeping Liverpool successful as Xabi Alonso was.
So Xabi Alonso did the right thing in staying put at Leverkusen.
I never said that. You're turning into Thomas. Do not turn into Dan Thomas.
All right,
Can we agree that you don't want to be the guy after Klopp, though?
Yeah. I'm not in that camp.
I am
in that camp. I really am not in that camp. I think if you can get a good manager, a good coach taking over a good group of players, that's different than all the other stories that we've been talking about with your Fergies and all that. That team needed broken up and starting again. But that's hard to do when you break up a team that's just won the Premier League and start again, and you're expected to win the Premier League. Who does that? So I'm not in this. Oh, I don't want to follow him. It's not going to be easy. Don't get me wrong. But I think if you bring in a manager who knows what it's all about, and again, I said it last week, there's two things that are the most important. One is the players. You picking the right players. You've got to bring in and get rid of the right players, which has nothing to do with the coach, really. He has some sort of say. And after that, you've got a guy who plays a type of football that every single person in that building is playing and wants to play. That's a huge start. Huge.